Hey, Golden Globe nuts. Those nominations are out. And let's talk about the TV lineup. And let's start with who did the best with their predictions. Chris Beachum runs our prediction center. Chris, what were the scores?
On the user side, we have one person out front, 77.78%, 11 categories. Chris, 51501. And then on the, let me pull it up here. You buried the lead because you tied with Nikki Novak from Fandango and Caitlin Thomas from TV Guide.
Let me stop there because Joyce's colleague Caitlin recruited Caitlin to join us, right? And so I was so glad to see she did well, Joyce. But she hadn't updated her predictions since November 15th. I found her
last night, and then she's like, she was busy working. She's like, I'm not going to update them.
I resisted. I said, I don't want to be responsible for. so I let it. I didn't bother you or her.
And look, she won. So.
But I'm also among the editors list, and I did not win there, did I, Chris?
No, Paul Sheehan finished. That person I mentioned that was our user was just a notch ahead of Paul and a few other users. So Paul was technically in second place worldwide.
So Paul, what was your secret? How did you know what you knew?
Oh, I knew which of your predictions to steal and which not to. No. I was updating, like I mentioned on the TV side this morning with Charlize Theron for Tully. And so when I saw that you had Candice Bergen and Murphy Brown, that was like a thunderbolt because I went and looked back and they nominated her all the time back when the show was on the air. I mean, they were nominating her when the show was off the air. So I knew that one.
I've been told by the sources that I've been snooping around, she's not getting in, the show's not getting in. And so late yesterday I went, nah, she's getting it.
But then your Katrina one, I thought, oh, Tom loves Outlander. He's so swayed by that. And so, and I still can't believe the cruelty that they've nominated, Deborah Messing for Will and Grace now. I mean, I likened it to, it's like Lucy and Charlie Brown in the football because how many Golden Globes has Will and Grace won, Joyce?
0. They're 0 for 29, so they could be 0 for 30 next month.
And they hold the record.
Maybe they just wanted to give it a nice round number.
The biggest loser in Globe history on the TV side. Yeah.
But I did miss a lot, in terms of just thinking that they would. I know how much they like new things. I just didn't realize how much they would like new things, especially I think on the drama side, right? Marcus, weren't you just talking about that?
It's incredible. Best drama series. Our writer Riley Chow is looking into this right now. This could be the first time ever that all 5 are brand new nominees. Now, The Americans is an old show, of course, but it's never been nominated for drama series. And the other 4 are all freshman shows. So that's so rare to happen.
I was debating dropping Handmaid's Tale because season 2 was so divisive, but then that was like my only returning nominee. And I was like, they're not going to do like all first timers, will they? And then they did.
And
even though Americans is not a first season show, but it's never been nominated. So.
Not only was
I think I had
winning last time, but Atlanta won for season 1 2 years ago, and it was just snubbed as well. So they're kicking out the winners. Sterling K. Brown won last year, and he's not back either.
I think I had Elizabeth Moss getting snubbed, but the show getting back in, so I completely missed both of those.
What an idiot.
Well, speaking of Riley, he convinced me. I mean, I hadn't thought about this at all to put J.K. Simmons in. And Riley said he wasn't just getting nominated, he was going to win. So thanks, Riley.
Well, see, my sources were saying, well, because they always have at least a stars vote. They said, well, it is going to be J.K. Simmons this time. So Katrina's not getting it. Take her out. And I thought, she's every year she's been nominated. What, 3 previous years?
Yeah, this is her 4th. It's so rare these days with peak TV to have somebody nominated 4 times in a row. It's almost unheard of.
Not win.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom. To that point about stars, because J.K. Simmons counterpart playing 2 different characters, but that's where FX did so well. It was the leading contender, but they really do like to sort of reward lots of as many networks as they can, right? They like to. So
they take care of the studios and the networks, and they do think that way. So you always have to count on a Stars nomination. And remember, it won a couple years ago in a big surprise upset.
And Showtime. Look at Kidding. How well, you know.
They love Showtime.
Yeah.
Like The Affair, Homeland twice.
And then
Daniel, now.
Daniel, I think you like Poise, don't you? Pose. Don't you?
Posse, no, Pose.
Well, Pose I had originally predicted would win Best Drama Series, and then I sort of switched to Homecoming, I think, at some point, but I still had Pose getting nominated. And I was pretty sure that Pose was going to get an acting nomination to go along with it. Again, sort of like with Handmaid's Tale, I got the wrong one. I thought they were going to try and be groundbreaking, and they were going to nominate MJ Rodriguez for Best Actress. And instead they went with Billy Porter for Best Actor. So I was right they would get an acting nomination, but not the one that I was predicting.
Explain groundbreaking.
Oh yes, well she's a transgender actress, and the show is about the ball scene in New York City, and so the show itself is groundbreaking for how many actual trans actors are playing trans roles as opposed to cisgender actors playing trans roles, as like Jeffrey Tambor in Transparent, Felicity Huffman in Transamerica. So I thought they would nominate one of the actresses from the show, but maybe next year.
Keep your eye on this show for Drama Ensemble next week as a possible nomination at the SAG Awards. That would not surprise me at all. It's got a massive. They love the groundbreaking over at SAG Awards, but they also love those large ensembles, which this has. So think about that on your predictions next week.
We have to talk about The Good Place. This is season 3, so this is an elderly show at the Golden Globes, but it got in for the first time for series and for Kristen Bell. I'm so happy.
But you know what? If you'd said 100% guaranteed one Good Place actor is going to get in, not two, but one, I would have said Ted Danson, because they gave him several awards for Cheers over the years. So it surprised me that, kind of like Daniel was talking about, if I had predicted one, I didn't predict either one, but if I had predicted one, I would have said Ted Danson over Kristen Bell.
Are you going to say who did the worst?
Oh, in our scoring?
We weren't going to.
Or among the shows?
My only excuse is that I have a job now and I can't watch it as much.
Oh, just steal everybody else's predictions.
Now, Susan, you did the best on the film side. So
I know, so I'm not totally ashamed of myself.
No, Susan, you got 62%, but that is a really good score at the Globes, because it's not like the Emmys that they have the automatic repeat pattern and you can just bank on what's getting back in. So these scores that we're talking about here are really, really strong, because while Paul was at 75%, Daniel, Chris, Rob, and I guess, all tied for second place. Marcus at 68, Joyce at 68. These are exceptionally good scores, considering the Globes just love to throw things in the air and upend everything.
Well, I used to pick everything Maisel again. So.
Well, it's funny. I think I talked about one show last month, Bodyguard, which is a BBC show that Netflix streamed, and I didn't predict it. I loved it.
I almost predicted it and Richard Madden last night, but then I didn't know what to take out, and I wanted to go to bed, so I was like,
what I'm really heartened by is, whether it's Pose, the Kaminsky Method, Bodyguard, these new shows that the Globe voters, this is what's so great about them. They give them attention. And like you said, Marcus, it's peak TV, and Susan's saying there's so much to watch. Well, now people will tune those shows in that may be niche and that are certainly.
I can say I watched 2 episodes of the Kaminsky.
Well, could I ask everybody on Drama Series, this seems like a very incredibly complicated category to predict. I could make a case for all 5, really, because Americans got 2 actors in, Bodyguard got Richard Madden, Homecoming got 2 actors, Killing Eve really missed out on Jodie Comer, but Sandra Oh is hosting and probably wins. And then Pose got Billy Porter in. So I don't know what to predict there.
It's hard. I may just stick with what I've had the whole time, which is Killing Eve. and Sandra Oh. I think they could match those two up. But wow, a lot.
Don't you think Jodie Comer missing though might be a little bit of a signal?
Yeah, but
I mean, I think Sandra's definitely winning now that she's hosting. So I don't know if they'll pair it up with a series win, which they like to do, or they'll like pair something else up, like Homecoming and Stefan James.
Yeah, I feel like Killing Eve missing Jodie Comer and Homecoming getting in Stefan James, who I was predicting, but he wasn't like an obvious slam dunk nomination, especially because they were going to nominate Julia Roberts anyway, so they could have paired those up without Stefan James. So I think I might be predicting Homecoming here. I think maybe Julia wins Best Actress anyway. I mean, I remember Amy Poehler when, you know, she was hosting the Golden Globes, and eventually she did win, but like I think the first 1 or 2 times she hosted the Golden Globes and she was nominated for Parks and Rec, she didn't win. So
you're saying the host for 3 years in a row.
The reason I started predicting her that year she won, though, it was the only time that the series got in.
Yeah, but I mean,
we knew that there was something up.
But Julia Roberts is a movie star. The show got in. It overperformed relative. It's Amazon. They love Amazon.
Yeah.
It
this is Amazon's first
relative to
nomination in drama.
I love Sam Esmail too. Mr. Robot won this category, and he's the creator of that and Homecoming. But they also love Ryan Murphy. Don't discount Pose here.
Oh no, yeah, Pose is a strong contender. I think it could win. I was predicting it to win earlier in the season, as I mentioned, and I don't know if I have the courage to predict it to win now. Maybe if it had gotten another 1 or 2 actors in.
Let me correct something I said earlier. I'm looking now. I think I misspoken. I thought J.K. Simmons did get in. He did not. Do you know who? Do you know who else didn't get in? Who I thought was a shoo-in in that category? Kevin Costner for Yellowstone.
I had him winning.
And John Krasinski for Jack Ryan. These are 3 big snubs.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Costner that now that I look back, I wasn't going to pull him out because I thought all the way back to the summer he might get in, but he really, other than that initial burst of publicity he did, you know, when the show debuted in June, he hasn't done anything to promote it, and they love their press conferences and their interviews, and if they felt like he was, you know, dissing them, that may have hurt him on getting it. Plus, it's the Paramount Network, which hasn't had, I don't think, has had a nomination in its 1.5 years of existence with the Golden Globes.
What do you guys think is going to happen with comedy series? It's very rare that something wins back to back. So Marvelous Mrs. Maisel may be the underdog here, even though it just won. But I mean, Barry, The Good Place, Kidding, Kaminsky Method. Again, I don't know what to do in this category.
I can see them going Jim Carrey and Kidding
for something new.
I've got Michael Douglas. Well, we haven't had the predictions that are up yet, but that's who I had in the nominations phase. They like their film stars, but you've also got Jim Carrey here, so that's going to make it interesting. I don't know, because Michael Kaminsky got in 2 actors. Sometimes you look at these just the numbers, but Barry did too.
Oh, yeah. But don't you think in these sort of times that we're in, that and Mrs. Maisel stands out from the rest as sort of, it's sunnier and it's bright, and I mean it's upbeat. I mean the rest of them
got in 2. Alex Borstein coming in for the first time.
Yeah, but
the assumption going in here, by the way, was that Kidding and Kaminsky would not get series, but those actors would get in. So this is interesting. They did break through for series.
Well, Joyce usually knows. I'm putting you on the spot here, Joyce. So what back-to-back wins in comedy?
The last one was Glee. So they won for the first 2 seasons. So
which was an
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to ask about limited series too. Not necessarily that race, but trying to pull up my list here. I messed up on Darren Criss at the Emmys, but I'm really wondering about Hugh Grant and Ben Whishaw winning for Very English Scandal. I was glad to see both of them get in, and that's very intriguing to me that both of them could win for that, and maybe the limited series wins there as well.
I think it does. I heard that Amazon actually submitted 6 episodes of Romanoff as 6 different films here because they couldn't go limited. They had to go. Yeah, they submitted 6, so that just forget that's why they're not here.
Split their own votes.
Yeah, that wiped out.
Speaking of Amazon, did you notice how the presenters today, they didn't say the word Amazon, they said Prime Video. And on the official Golden Globes press release, it says Prime Video. Are they rebranding themselves?
Well, that's the production arm of it.
Yeah. It's interesting where, speaking of Amazon, like we've been talking about them as a potential winner, and now all 3 program categories. Homecoming could win drama, Maisel could win comedy again, and Very English Scandal could win limited series. I don't think they're going to go all 3, but you know, it's a matter of deciding. Okay, if they want to spread the wealth between networks, the hard part is figuring out which one they would go for, which one or two maybe they would go for.
I think you just convinced me Maisel maybe is not going to win because of that reason. I think Amazon could win the other 2. I just binged A Very English Scandal yesterday, all 3 episodes. It's so
wonderful.
We actually agree on something, Marcus. I think Tom loved it and Paul loved it. This is rare.
I didn't know
I loved it too.
Okay.
So I think
our lady for this year.
If only one person won from that between Hugh and Ben, I think Ben might be the one. He's got that career going where he's in everything all of a sudden. He's in Mary Poppins. He was in Paddington 2 just this year alone. So I think he might be that person that could win in that supporting race that would surprise some people.
It could win all 3. I mean, it's not unheard of for a show to win series and 2 acting races at the Globes.
Didn't Night Manager win 3 acting and did not win limited series?
Yeah, and it was funny because they announced like limited series before, like I think lead actor. So I feel like if they had swapped the order, like Ryan Murphy and like FX probably would have been nervous that they wouldn't win for OJ.
Did anybody have a prediction that they were just incredibly pleased over, and maybe not even something that you watch, but just, boy, I nailed that one. The only one that I got that just was like, wow, how did I listen and know that Connie Britton was getting in?
Yes.
But I was at a NBC cable party with Marcus and Zach, and she was there. Connie Britton was there. A lot of foreign press was there, and it just kind of set off signals in my head of, oh, you know, she might get in for this, and so I put her in and was very proud that she got nominated.
I think
it too.
Yeah, Regina King for me. The fact that a woman of color who's sort of, you know, not 25, and she's having this moment, and I'm so pleased for her. I mean, I sort of remember her old days on TV and stuff. So I think that Joyce just wrote this item about Amy versus Regina, right, Joyce, in 2 categories?
Yes. So they could either both lose to someone else, one of them beats the other in both, or one.
Or poor Emma Stone. She could have been joined that party, but could have been 3 in both categories.
They didn't have the Maniac at all.
They clearly hated me. I'm really surprised they got nothing.
Who left Emma in because like she, you know, is a bigger name and she had the favorite. But yeah, they blanked it.
I'll watch them both get in at SAG next week because of the Netflix love.
Oh, good point.
I also want to bring up Yvonne Strahovski. Remember what happened with The Affair? The Affair won in season 1 for drama. It got snubbed for season 2, but then Maura Tierney came in for season 2, even though the show was snubbed, and she won. So even though Yvonne's show is not up, she could definitely still win. She's a threat.
Well, unlike the Emmys, it might be to her benefit that, you know, at the Emmys she had Alexis and Ann Dowd. So here she's by herself from The Handmaid's Tale in that category. So maybe that could help her.
Good. Let's sign off with your worst prediction. Mine, Best TV Drama Actor. I only got 1 nominee out of 5. I got Matthew Rhys, and I just blew it. Did anyone else want to fess up with their worst prediction?
Oh, I narrowly avoided that fate for TV Drama Actor. I had Matthew Rhys, but I also had Stefan James, so I managed to get 2 there.
Well, I had Kevin Costner actually winning, so I think that would be mine.
I had J.K. Simmons winning, so.
Most shocking to me most shocking for me in a positive sense is that of all these categories, the hardest ones are usually the supporting categories because they throw everything together, and that's where I got 9 out of 10.
Well done.
Congrats.
Yeah, I got all of the supporting actresses right.
I thought Ricky Martin would get in for supporting actor. They love the superstar music stars, and remember Lady Gaga, Madonna, and I was wrong on that one.
I don't think he's right. You know, the same place he was 10 years ago. So.
And I definitely I faltered on limited actor. Got very few of those fellows. So.
Idiot.
I took on Antonio yesterday. Just I couldn't find room for him among, I think I put Benicio in his place and he didn't get in. So that was another bad one for me.
Well, it's very humbling to do what we do, but it's a lot of fun. How did you do at home watching this? Did you beat us? If you didn't, why not? Prove that you are the smartest predictor on the planet, not us experts or editors. In a few hours, Chris will have the prediction centers up for all of these. Get in there, make your predictions. They help set our racetrack odds, which in turn terrify Hollywood. Isn't that great? We hear that Lady Gaga checks Gold Derby twice a day. Scare her with us, okay? Thanks for watching.